Welcome back to the Authentic Human Podcast. I'm Michelle Vickers, and this is part 79 of the story of creation. So, we've been working diligently and directly with universal beings, with the Creator, with the angelics who created humanity, and with a whole bunch of universal beings to bring the truth of human existence back so that we know our history, so that you not only understand who you are, but you can begin to access the information around you, but the abilities and the gifts that you have. And ultimately, it's been stirring up a lot of hidden. I'm not hidden, hidden's not the right word, but dormant. So it's like every time we have another part of the story of creation, it stirs to life new awakening inside of you, inside of me, right? I'm learning as I'm going through this process, because that's the whole point. Is that's why I'm doing it, because I get to learn about all the history. But what I love is, people are sending me messages and they're sharing with me, and what I'm loving hearing is their fear, that bigger fear that overshadows life is dissipating. Their anxiety is going away. When you understand who you are, right? So depression is what happens when the truth is being withheld from you. Okay. So that's when it's beyond your control for the most part. And yet it seems beyond your control, but it's not. But it's when someone withholds it from you. Anxiety is when we resist knowing the truth, right? So, for example, a common one is, people are in a relationship and one person's like, I think the other person's cheating on me, right? Your instincts are already telling you what you think. And the anxiety is a result of you going, well, I don't really want to know, because if I know, then I'm going to have to do something about it. And so that's what actually causes the anxiety. It's the actual act of not being willing to participate in your life, in your story. So ultimately, this is what the story of creation is doing for a lot of people. Is it's lowering both the fear and the depression and the anxiety. So I guess three things, not both. Sorry, my mind is a little foggy today because there's also a lot of energy already coming in. And so ultimately what they're sharing and what they're saying is we're at this brink, right? So humanity is, the way they're showing me is, when I say brink, I mean like if you thought about the planet, so it's not really a planet because it's consciousness, it's the universe, it's the expansiveness of the universe, and it's like a big huge cliff, but the cliff is 10,000 feet, and we're all standing right on the edge, but it goes into blackness, it's going into darkness. And what it's also really interesting, the way they're showing me, like, it's black and darkness, which means it's not bad. It means it hasn't been created yet. It's literally just potential. It's not even matter yet. It's just the vibration is just waiting to be molded, right? So if you've listened to the other parts of the story of creation, you'll begin to understand how matter is created and how humans were created and how we came to be, and how intentions and energy and experiences are created. And so the reason that they shared that aspect, all those aspects of existence and human existence, is so that you can begin to understand the power of creation. Because this is what humanity needs most right now, is we need to understand how to create a world without suffering, without pain, without fear, without judgment. And most of us, we don't know how to do that because our brains are programmed that if your brain is, if you don't want judgment, you look for the opposite. So what is the opposite, right? Because that's what we've been taught. We've been trained to think in opposites, right? What is an opposite? It's an opposition. And so ultimately, it's a strategy that has been used strategically to ensure you're still in opposition. So you're still actually focused on the thing you don't want, which seems crazy, but that's what an opposite is. Okay. And so what they want to explore today. So we've got angelics from both the first stream and the second stream, but the first stream are going to share first and more predominantly. So these are the angelic beings of matter, but it's understanding that they created matter. So they don't just govern matter. And what I mean by govern is anytime that any being, and this is really important, they want me to highlight that, anytime that any being in existence wants to create a new aspect of a matter in existence, so that's you included, okay? Those are the beings that you call on. Those are the beings that just asking, how does this work? Or how can we do this? Brings their attention. They come running in excitement because you're leading a new exploration in the field that they're masters at. So they're not like the human sides of us. They're not sitting there going, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're getting in on my domain. And that's not what they're doing. They're so excited because we can help. That's what they're thinking, right? And they want you to begin to understand that that's how existence has been created. That's how we co-create, not because we, it's understanding. It's not even about similar interests. Okay. And this is where our perspectives as humans, it's extremely limited. When you look from the universal perspective, okay, and you set out to explore a new aspect of existence, so it doesn't exist already, right? You're going to create it. You need every bit of information and knowledge on that subject possible. None of that information is going to come from a book because books are people's opinions. That's it. The energy, the truth is written in the energy. Okay. That's what consciousness is. It's literally a well, if you will, of every aspect of existence. And it's just sitting there waiting for anyone to just pick out the pieces they want. Doesn't matter if your interests are, they could be anything from the existence of extraterrestrial life, if that's of interest to you, if anything, like how does the wind blow, right? How does it work? And here's the thing. How do animals exist? When I first started channeling, receiving information from universal beings, it actually started through animals. And it was really fascinating. So I would be just minding my own business. And all of a sudden I would feel, actually the first time I did a past life regression, but I didn't do it with someone who had trained to do past life regressions. I did it with someone whose mission, who came here. That's what he came here to do. So when he's doing it with you, he's seeing exactly what you're seeing. And so it's a completely different experience. It's literally like going to the movies, and it is the most fascinating experience ever. And for me, it was really cool because I was in a cave and I didn't understand. It was like this, it felt like it was really dark. And when I came out, it was just like a slit in some concrete almost, but I was a spider. And as the spider, I understood the consciousness and the reason that spiders were created, how they were created, every aspect. Like I can still feel, like this is 18, 19 years ago. Actually, it's closer to 20, but anyways, I can still feel the little hairs on my legs and the senses, like what they pick up as they're moving. Okay. And I could feel the eyes, like, and being able to see in all different directions. It's quite fascinating. And I will say that instantaneously, so I could not be in a room with spiders before that. Now I can have them crawl on me. It's not a big deal. I don't want a giant one crawling on me, but that you get the point. This is why, okay, this is how humans were created to learn, to experience through the wisdom of consciousness. Because what happens is when you set your intention on learning, okay, you step into the energy, you become that in an experience. So you're not just taking in information in your brain, because the reality is your brain doesn't have the capacity to take in the level of information that your soul is transmitting with the universe, and that the universe wants you to know and understand. It's impossible. And so this is why I can see it. It's like a teeter-totter, okay? And what they're showing me is this is why we continue to go back and forth. So for those who are able to feel energy, who have it's not just being able to follow your instincts and say, okay, I'm going to do this. It's recognizing that you're feeling a force, right? It's an energy force, if you will, a life force of awareness come through you. Now, what's really cool is this happens across the board, right? Musicians who write songs that manage to touch millions or billions of people at the same time because they were in connection with the vibration and the energy of what humanity needed to hear and experience at that moment, right? Whether through the melody or through the words. Sometimes it's a combination of both. We see it in so many different places. We see it in science, we see it in health, we see it in so many places where humans are acting on consciousness. They're acting on awareness that they've received, that they're like, I don't know why I'm going to do this, but let's just give it a try, right? But they can't. That's the extent of it. It's, I don't know why we're going to do this. Let's just give it a try, right? A scientist can walk into the lab and state that, let's just give this a try. But they couldn't say, well, I felt the energy of it, and I felt like this is how the pieces come together. We don't even recognize that that's what's happening inside of us on a regular basis. Okay. It's happening all the time. That's how we were created. That's how we were created to learn. That's how we were created to exist, because that is the only way we can not only explore our potential, but we can expand consciousness, right? Because consciousness is, like I said, it's like a library, right? Of every single aspect of existence that's already occurred. It's already there. But your job, in order to create something new, you got to know what's already there, right? So whatever you place your intention on, the universe goes, okay, perfect. This is what you need to know. And they'll send you tons and tons of different information, not through, they're not going to send you, oh, here's the website, go look this website up. Here's a book, go look this book up. That's not how it works. They send you experiences and opportunities to connect with people, because those experiences are going to allow you to receive the wisdom, right? And often it'll happen right in between that time of sleep and wakefulness, where you'll wake up and you'll be like, I had the strangest dream. But then it will transform into the energy of the awareness that you needed. And dreams are not, as we've been told, based on symbols and all that stuff. They're not. It's based on energy, every single one of them. And what happens throughout the day is your energetic vibration will receive that awareness. Okay. And so some of us, some of us do it more easily than others, and some will reject it, right? So if you wake up and you're like, I had the strangest dream, oh gosh, it was uncomfortable or it was weird, and you shut the door on it, then you won't be transforming that information, It won't happen for you. And so this is what the angelics really want you to understand, okay, is the universe is not only on your side, but it's feeding you the information you need consistently on a regular basis, no matter what it is that you're doing. The awareness of whatever it is that you're choosing to accomplish, right? So whatever it is you're focused on, that's what you want to accomplish. So whatever it is you're focused on, they're giving you streams of conscious universal information. The question is, how open are you to receiving it? So this is where opposition comes into play, okay? And this is why that whole dynamic, right, where we've been taught to not look at, we see what we don't want, and then you choose the opposite. What they're saying is you can't look at receiving information from universal beings the same way as you would receive information from a book or from a lecture, right? It's understanding that receiving universal information is intimacy. It's an intimate relationship that you have with yourself. And this is why most people can't remember how to do it, or they don't think they can do it, because your level of information that's coming in to you from the universe is a reflection of your relationship with yourself. Okay. It's like the best, most abundant form of self-awareness in existence, right? Because remember, the entire universe, no matter what it is you're interested in, are waiting. So in this particular existence, we were talking about matter, anything you want to create in your life. So when they're talking create, it means something that's never been done before. Okay. If you're trying to, reproduce something someone else has done, you're not creating something new, you're reproducing something. So it doesn't need to come from consciousness. You're just going to learn it from somebody else who's already done it. You're just going to study them. Totally different than creation. Okay. Creation is understanding that existence, the vibration of existence. So what they're showing me is so this black, right? We're on the cliff. So we're on something solid, but it's not just like dark black, it's void. So it's not even a color. And yet it's just pure potential. Okay. And potential it's filled with everything and nothing all at the same time. It's that moment. So it's not excitement, but it's anticipation, right? That anticipation of, anything can happen here, but not with excitement, with awe. And that's exactly what is being created on mass levels right now. Okay. The entire universe is supporting this transformation in human existence, right? This has never been done before at this scale, right? Humanity is self-healing. So typically before the last 50,000 years, if something were off, each human would come back into, like, we wouldn't have mass outbreaks like we have of everyone going off the rails all at once. And this drastically. Okay. So this was a strategic takedown of human existence. And it's important to understand, but it's more important to understand that, so what? So they tried to take us down. They only win if we keep focusing on how angry we are at them. Right. So we don't want to do that. We want to be over here focused on, what are we going to do about it? This is awesome. Right? Learning about not only what you're capable of, but what we're meant to be doing right now. right? Because that's the whole point. The creator does not want to end this creation, which will happen because basically humanity is on a course that's self-destruction, right? We can't keep going in this way and expect sustainability to be the result. So, that being said, on the other side, if you will, right? So, again, this is not the opposition. This is not the opposite of what. This is not the opposite of the manipulation. And that's really important. Okay. Again, we're coming back to that understanding that existence itself is being restored. Restored. Okay. So that means that the potential is everywhere. So they want you to feel into it and think about it like a funnel. Okay. Every aspect of conscious existence, consciousness itself, is going into this funnel of creating the future, creating existence, but the existence that vibrates with potential. Okay. Why? Well, because that's how we were created. We weren't created for monotony. We weren't created for control and manipulation, which is what they've trained all humans to funnel their energy into. So you've got this current society where manipulation, control, fear, anxiety, stress, all of these things, right? That's our focus. It's a full focus of our energy all the time. Whether you're focused on being fearful or, anxious or whatever it is, angry, or you're focused on how can I not be those things, right? But both of those focuses, right? Those are the oppositions, but they're still focusing on that dynamic of control and manipulation. And what the creator is saying, creator, the angelics as well, like we are in, it's like a new age, right? It's a new age. Yeah, really. It's a new age. And it is like the dawn of creation again. It's exactly the words they're using. Why is it like the dawn of creation? Because we are at that brink of possibility. You can feel it. This is why. Okay. It's the same vibration that we were at when the original universe was created. That's why September 8th, they did that journey. So you can go back and watch that one. I'll link it in the comments, but they gave you the opportunity to feel the energy at the dawn of existence, but also at the birth of your soul in existence. So you would understand those two, because what they're creating, what's culminating right now, this is what's causing disruption, so much disruption, right? We've been taught that disruption, change is bad, but it's not. All this disruption is happening because anything that isn't, like they're showing me, like roads breaking up because they're just crumbling, right? They're showing me big storm clouds. The disruption is happening because we need to create a new world. And we're the only ones who can do that, right? Because the universe, right? It's not like if the creator decides he's going to change it, it completely ends and then we start again. He doesn't want that, because in doing that, we miss this opportunity for transformation that's never occurred before. We miss that. He doesn't want you or me or anyone. He doesn't want us to miss that opportunity to create something new out of mass destruction. It's never been done. He wants to be not only, it's not about racing each other, right? He wants to be the universe who's done this that has never been done in existence, right? mass destruction can actually be recreated into something that is better than it was when we first existed. Now, this is also something he's never shared before. So this is really cool. So it's the creator now. And what he's showing me is his original intention. And he's talked about this so much in the first 78 parts of the story. He's talked about his original intention for humanity and your existence and existence itself. And he says, now I want you to understand my vision, my intention for the future. Okay. So original intention had all the 9 fundamentals of energy, which each one of them, right? They're all in here if you in Believe, if you are interested in reading more about them. Why it's so important, okay, is he's building on that. That's what this future is. He's adding new aspects to his intention. So this is the original intention of human existence explained. Now he's adding to it. And what he's adding is an awareness, because we've done it, right? We created this experience where we were manipulated and controlled. We chose to participate in that. Every time you allow someone to make you feel less than you are and all the other million things that we do, okay, we're choosing to participate in it, okay? It's getting out of the opposite of that, which is anger or frustration that it happened in the first place. Let go of that because it's useless. It's useless to creation. You can't create anything with it. All you're doing is wallowing in your anger and sadness, and you're keeping that experience alive for human existence. And so where we're going as a human race is, he says, my intention is that there's each human will be carrying a new awareness of self existence is the words he's using. You will have a new awareness of existence in a way that humans, my first intention for humans, didn't hold. They didn't hold the embodiment of destruction, but they also didn't hold the embodiment of resilience. And those two together, that wisdom, well, there's 3. It's the original intention, destruction, and resilience that has the power and potential to contribute to evolution in ways that he says I can only dream of. And he sees, like, you can feel it right now. He's putting those 3 energies together. It's electrifying. It's electrifying. If you allow yourself to feel it from the universal perspective, if you are feeling it from your human poor me, if you will, you're holding the vibration through your mind. Okay. You're holding the resentment and the anger and the frustration. So you can't transcend the energy in your body. So just like they were explaining, if you receive information, right, in that in-between sleep time, and then it transforms throughout the day, right? Because your body, your awareness, your energy is always going to be picking up universal information. Always. That is how you were designed to exist, period. And it's your mind that is going to determine if, when, and how that information is going to come to you, right? So if you've decided, whoa, nope, too much, there's no way, that's crazy, then it's not going to come. But if you allow it to come in, then it will. And it's going to come in the exact method that you've allowed yourself to be comfortable with. And what the creator is saying is that when we combine, right, that original intention for existence, the manipulation, and the resilience, when we combine those 3 together, your vibration is going to expand tenfold, which means that your capacity to contribute to evolution is going to expand 10 times. Can you just imagine right now what consciousness already is and how much there is of it that we don't know as humans walking around. And yet we're ready to resurrect back into that state of being fully aware, right? It's a lot of people think about awareness from your mind, right? Having a whole bunch of facts and information stored in there, right? And that's how they look at presence. Like, I'm present in my moment. My mind is absorbing everything. That's not what it actually is. It's presence is the ability to exchange conscious energy, conscious awareness with the universe. It's being in a vibration where information is coming to you, even if your mind doesn't get it. It's understanding that your mind does not need to translate it because the energy is already within you. That's why the story of creation is having such an impact on so many people, because you're feeling the energy. And when you feel it, it speaks to your soul. It speaks to the heart of who you are. And it's reigniting that inner truth, that inner knowing that says, A, I'm not alone. B, I actually am not powerless. And C, there's not only hope, but I can actually participate in creating a new world, because that's exactly who you were created to be. You were created to consistently participate in evolution. That is consistently creating a new world. We weren't ever supposed to live in a static world that we've been living in for the last 50,000 years. All of these religious texts are telling us, stories about this is our history and this is how we came to be and this is how we've evolved. And then you've got all of these systems that ensure we stay the same so we can be controlled and manipulated. And we're literally being guided like ants or sheep or whatever you want to look at. It doesn't matter. It's understanding that is not how creation was intended. It's in creation itself is in constant movement. It's never static. Just like your energy is in constant movement because there's a constant flow of information coming to you. No matter what you put your intention on, your focus on, your attention on, information is coming to you because you're a beacon, you're a satellite, and you're constantly receiving. And when you begin to allow yourself to recognize, this is what I mean when I've said over and over again, participating in your life and your existence as though you're a valuable part of creation. That's what I mean. Every aspect of existence, every being in the universe is sending you information that you need in any given moment because you have wondered, you have pondered, you have asked a question. What am I meant to do? How can I make this happen? And in your brain, you're thinking, well, I just asked by myself in my head. No one was listening. The universe is listening because it's not just a thought that's going through you. If you have a thought, it's a vibration that you're putting out into the universe. That is how sensitive the universe is to you, but it's also how sensitive you are to the universe. It's funny to me when people say, oh, I'm an empath and I have to protect myself from other people's energy. No, you don't. We're all empaths. Why? Because we all have hypersensitivity to energy because we were created that way so that we would never be without the information we need. So your job is to stop protecting yourself. Don't even think about it. It's recognizing and looking at your life and your existence in the way you're meant to. So stop needing to protect yourself. That's useless. Okay. What you want to do is recognize that you are literally on the edge of this cliff and in front of you is the potential of the universe and you're meant to participate in it. What are you going to do? What are you going to create that is absolutely new? No one has done before that allows you to contribute to the evolution of not only human existence, but the universe itself. Okay. And don't sit there and think, well, little old me doesn't have any big enough questions. It's the smallest questions that seem unimportant, but it's the ones that you need the answers to. Well, how does this work? And how can I do this? How can I get my relationship to be stronger? Or how can I find a deeper connection with the people in my life? Right? How can I find financial freedom? How can I feel fulfillment at the end of each day? Those tiny little questions that seem like nothing. Maybe it's about what you're going to wear that day. It may seem like nothing, but if you have a question that's not just, oh gosh, what am I going to wear today? But it's what am I going to wear today? You feel the energy of it and let yourself follow what information comes back. Trust me, that's how this works. Trust me. I laugh when I say that. That's the energy that came through, and I still laugh because how can we trust very many people on the planet at this day and age, especially on the internet? I'll tell you, I am one of the least trusting, but it's also because I'd rather, as people are talking, I'm feeling into the energy because I don't really trust what anybody says these days. And it's not that I don't, not trusting is not quite the right words. It's, I want the information direct from the source for everything. Why? Because I don't want to waste my time wondering if something's going to work or if it's not, second guessing myself, challenging any aspect of my life. I just want the information and I want to move on already. And I want it direct from the source. So, your mission for this week is to allow yourself to recreate the story in your mind, okay? Where instead of an opposite to what you don't want, allow yourself to begin to create a new story entirely. What does it even look like? How does it feel? And allow yourself to receive information coming in from the universe. Don't worry how that works, okay? Because the moment you start to go, well, I don't know how to do it, you're going to cancel it out. Set the intention that you want to receive the wisdom the universe has to offer you. That's from your soul. It's from all the universal beings in existence, okay? From the souls of other family members, if that's necessary or appropriate. But it's understanding that you are an integral part of existence. You have the potential to create a world where suffering doesn't exist. But you can't set the intention to create a world where suffering doesn't exist. Why? Because that is exactly how we create a world with suffering, because your focus is on suffering. So what does it look like without it? Let yourself dream. Let your imagination run wild. The creator says there's a reason you have an imagination, and it's as colorful and vibrant as it is. And he says, start thinking about those times when you were a child where it ran uninhibited until someone else called it back. And he says, allow yourself as an adult to recreate. And it's like, he's like calling it back to you, right? Calling your inspirations back to you, right? You have, it's like this uninhibited fire inside of you, and it has the potential to break down walls and fears and blocks and limitations at the speed of light. But again, you have to allow yourself to participate in it. You have to want to participate. And most of us are too scared to do it because we don't recognize that it even exists. But your instincts are telling you it does. And it's time to let them lead. Okay? So fear is not an instinct, just so we're all clear. Protecting yourself, not an instinct. Also clear, if those are the things you're feeling, right? Resentment, anger, judgment, those are not instincts. Those are mental determinations that you have chosen to align yourself with, that you've chosen to participate in to create dynamics and situations between yourself and other people, other experiences. Those are not instincts. There's no such thing as fear as an instinct. No such thing as fear as an instinct. Potential and uncovering your potential are the only instincts you have. And if you're wondering on how to do that, hang out with a 3, 4, 5-year-old. Hang out with them. And just start asking them questions about what they think, what they feel, what they're doing, what's going on in their mind. They'll trigger it in you. Just let them, and let yourself be uninhibited in that freedom to explore your potential. That's what we're doing. We're literally working towards creating that uninhibited feeling inside of you. That's why we're telling this story of creation. So not only do you understand who you are, where you came from, why you exist, but we need you. We need you. The whole world needs you to remember your natural state of being, because it's that, right, that's going to contribute to the resurrection of human existence. I love you. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.